This episode of Translating Love is brought to you by Masters of Coffee. Because Masters of Coffee is a local Austrian company, this ad will be in German.
Yes. Zu einem ordentlichen Morgenritual gehört nur eines.
Poop?
No, Coffee. Of course. Und diese Episode wird gesponsert von Masters of Coffee. Seit Anfang 2021 gibt es sie bereits und Matthias und Bernd bringen ihr Barista-Know-how mit. Ihr Kaffee wird nicht nur online, sondern bereits in diversen Geschäften vertrieben. Und das Coole ist, man kann sie auch renten. Das heißt, rent a Barista und man kann die Masters mieten. Was auch immer ansteht, guter Kaffee sollte nicht zu kurz kommen. Das heißt, bei Hochzeiten oder bei anderen Veranstaltungen gibt es guten Kaffee direkt von den Brühern. Und das Tolle ist, es gibt auch Workshops. So man kann für zu Hause einfach lernen, einen guten, super ordentlichen Kaffee zubereiten. Super cool. Und ein richtig cooler Service ist Pimp meine Kaffeemaschine. Also man kann wirklich seine Kaffeemaschine individualisieren mit Griffen, mit Schnickschnack, super cool. Also es ist sehr einzigartig. Und wer mehr über die Masters of Coffee erfahren will, geht auf die Homepage www.mastersofcoffee.eu, auf Facebook unter Masters of Coffee Austria oder auf Instagram unter @themastersofcoffee. Und alle Links findet ihr auch unten in der Description. Das Tolle ist auch, wer in der Linzer Area ist, kann sich auch ein persönliches Bild machen und jederzeit auf einen Café bei den Jungs im Store in der Leonfeldner Straße 328 in der Lederfabrik vorbeischauen.
So I'm starting
Who's starting what?
the podcast.
And we already started.
Oh.
We're already recording.
I see.
Yeah.
I see. So then why did you just start staring at me if you already pressed record?
You stared at me.
You stared back.
People of Earth, or the two people who are listening. No. Hello and welcome back to a new episode of Translating Love.
Indeed.
Yeah.
If you don't know our names by now, then...
Fuck you. Obviously, I'm kidding, or am I?
Or is he?
It's me, Woifi, and this is my co-host, Dani, or sub-host, as some call her.
Sub-host? What does that mean?
You're like underneath the host.
Wow.
Sub-host, you know.
Or both the hosts.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We're back, everybody. We appreciate you listening in. We appreciate you subscribing, obviously. And we appreciate you sharing the podcast if you like what you hear. We are almost at 80 episodes. I think this is one before 80.
Really?
Which is crazy. And I don't know how long we're going to do this, but we'll figure it out.
We'll figure it out.
But for now, we go into today's topic, and today's topic is...
I don't even know how you want to word it.
I don't know. It's hard. But the thing is, I thought that we should just talk about our experience with putting effort into a relationship compared to then and now. So basically, what has changed? How do you define effort and work? And what does it mean to you compared maybe what it meant back in your previous relationship?
Mm-hmm.
Something like that. Something along those lines.
So good luck to us for figuring out a title for this episode.
Yeah.
So what is it for you? Like, what do you... I mean, how do you even ask that question? Because that's too long of an answer then for one question.
Let's start with the past, maybe.
Okay, so how did you see effort in terms of a relationship in the past? Or like, what effort did you put in or not put in? Little to none, I would say. What does that mean for you?
So, I mean, in my first relationship, I didn't put any effort in. Like, none whatsoever, which might not be true. There was a little effort, but
I wouldn't say there's no effort.
In terms of maintaining and growing the relationship, I did not put any effort in. Sure, I tried to, see each other and spend time with each other and put some effort into that. But other than that, not so much. But obviously that changed a little bit with aging and also the significance of relationships. But which also, it's weird because my previous relationships weren't that significant in a lot of ways, which might sound super mean or I don't know.
But see, I wouldn't phrase it. I mean, I'm not you, but I do know about your past relationships, and I know like what each of them meant to you in terms of like what stage you were in your life when you were with those people.
Yeah.
And I think that they were extremely significant.
Yeah, no, for my development and for my growth, yes, indeed. But in the sense that what they meant to me, like, I was not, it's all on me. It's not on them. It's all on me. I was never, in my previous relationships, in my last one a little bit, but then there was the second half that, didn't really work out. But I was never at the place where I could see this relationship going somewhere, but okay, this is going to end at some point.
But for now it's fine, or for now it's comfortable.
Right. For now it's comfortable, for now it's fine. For now I'm just, tagging along because that's what one does, apparently. I don't know. The thing is, who knows? I mean,
that is what people do.
Right, that's what people do. But when I look...
basically a relationship. You don't have to go into every relationship thinking this is going to go somewhere serious, But you can also go into it like casually and say, this is where it is and this is where I'm at, and that's okay.
I agree. But that's the weird thing, because I look around myself and I see some relationship that lasted long times, or that they are still in the same relationship they were when I started my first one. They never had or that's also, my sister never had another boyfriend.
I didn't know that. I just thought they'd been together for so long. I didn't know she never. I mean,
yes, there was like a fling, but she never dated someone else. And so, seeing those, I was surrounded by people, not surrounded, but I had some people in my family and friends that had relationships like that where it never changed, where they stayed the same over the course of years. And so I oddly felt like, okay, maybe I'm not ready, but I know that this relationship is not going to be it.
Yeah.
And so I think that was also a part where, after the what are they called, the pink glasses, the
like the butterfly
phase, the first like
honeymoon phase.
After that, I didn't put so much effort into the whole relationship. Not in the sense that I didn't care, but I could have been a better boyfriend in a lot of ways. Which also sounds mean, but I hope nobody takes it like the wrong way. But I don't know. So
I don't think your exes are listening to our podcast.
No, I agree. But what I want to say, or what I learned to see, is that with the meaning of the relationship, my effort changed. But also with the age, like when I came to a certain age, like with my last relationship, I put way more effort into the whole thing and tried to make it work in a lot of ways, but in the end it didn't work out because of many reasons. So there already changed a few things, but I also knew that, okay, this is not going to go somewhere. So at some point I kept just tagging along for a while. So yeah, I don't know. So I couldn't even say what, like, in terms of specific effort I put into the relationship. I never went to a therapist with some of those people.
But that doesn't have to be effort.
No. I'm just saying, but I never sat down and really talked. I had in my last relationship, I had some serious talks, but not really that many. And most of the time it was not really that insignificant. Because we were both in so different stages of our existence and our development, school and whatever. And also, like, in terms of, at some point, maybe in your relationship, you sit down with each other, or maybe you just talk about what you want in life and stuff like. I never had that really in my previous relationships.
That's interesting.
Which
we had that before we even started dating.
Yeah. I mean, I think that's also something that came with age. Weirdly, I feel like I aged slower. But a man in general ages slower. So
the maturity levels.
Yeah, right. So, yeah, I don't know. But how was it for you?
I mean, I don't even know where to start because your answer was so long, which is fine. But I'm trying to think of like where you started so I can try to start.
I started with my first relationship and then went along.
I couldn't do that. Because I've had so many.
4.
Wow. No, but I have dated a lot of people. It doesn't mean I was like physical with a lot of people, but I've dated a lot of people.
Let's get physical.
I don't know. I think I mean I wouldn't start with like the first relationships because I was like in 6th grade with my first relationship.
That's not what I mean. But with your first
relationship, we held hands in the hallway and giggled because we were holding hands in the hallway, and we like never spoke to each other.
No, but with your first like more real relationships.
Shout out, by the way, to Tyler Marson, who I know is not listening to this podcast. But
Tyler,
if you remember that, it was hysterical.
You dirty boy.
Okay. I mean, first significant relationship was probably also the first long one. So let's just no, that's not true. The first significant relationship was the person you met when we went to Milwaukee. Super, super nice guy.
Yeah.
But I mean, we were in high school, but I think even in that age, you can have a meaningful relationship.
No, I totally agree.
And he actually helped me a lot, I've realized over the years, to like kind of, I don't know, not be so concerned about like what other people think about me. Mm-hmm. And granted, I lost track of that through the years, but he did influence me in that a lot. And I think he and I had a really nice relationship in terms of it was like silly. We were always silly with each other. We were always laughing or getting high or, just fun things like that teenagers do. But I mean, the effort, and when we put in a lot of effort into that relationship, we were always like making sure the other one was okay. We spent a lot of time together. And at that age especially, you have your own friend groups and you want to make sure that you each have time with your friend groups, but also have time with each other.
I mean, it sounds very mature.
It was very mature for when we were 15, 16. So,
wow.
Yeah. It was a really nice relationship. That was well balanced. But then after that was my first like longer, and I would say like my first really serious relationship. And I don't know. I mean, it's hard to define effort. I mean, that's my thing. I think I struggled with putting too much effort into a relationship because I think you can put too much in.
Like you smothered them.
Not smothered them, but I felt like I constantly had to seek this person's approval and I constantly had to do things purely so they wouldn't leave me. Like I was so afraid of being alone, and I carried that with me for a very, very long time.
That's a different topic though.
And I know, but it led to me putting in so much effort into this relationship that I don't know. And it was the same on their side too. He put in also quite a bit of effort, and I think we both just kind of smothered each other, honestly. Spent way too much time together, kind of shut out other people, and it was more just like the two of us, and yeah.
Just the two of us. But what, like, when you think about your last relationship compared to now, what has changed? What didn't you do in your last relationship? Or maybe what are you doing better? No, what did you worse than? What are you doing better now?
I voice things more now than I did in the last relationship, like if something upset me that the other person did, or if there's something that I thought, we could work on, I never, ever, ever said anything like that, because I'm like, okay, it's just fine how it is. That's just how it's going to be. This is how that person is. This is how I am. We can't change it, even though it totally would have been possible. And I voice those things more. I talk more about how I feel. And
okay.
I think that that's important. And I think at the start of our relationship, I went a little overboard maybe with it. And it was like, I talked about everything all the time, and you kind of helped me to
shut you
balance. No, you helped me to balance. Granted, you also needed to be more open to hearing about somebody's feelings. So it was a balance for both of us. But I think we both learned to balance, like, being able to express emotions in a healthy way, and like what things are important to say and what things we can maybe think about before we say.
I mean, you're already going into like maintaining a relationship, and what do you think is important to do that? I mean, we talk about stuff like that a lot. I mean, even in the last episode. But recently we talked about compromise, which is also part of, that process of putting effort into the relationship for maybe compromising something that I would like to do, so he or she or they get what they want to do, for example. But if you just think about, I mean, you already said about like expressing your feelings and how you feel and your emotions. That's definitely something I learned more to do with you than I did. Like, I never did that in any other relationship. And the way I do it now is still very reserved, but I would do it way more now than I did it. I never did it before. So this is my learning and my trying, which is slow, I know, but it's continuous. It's
the thing, I think for you, I'd actually say for you, it's more in waves, where at the beginning of the relationship, it was like you barely ever talked about it. I mean, the very beginning you did, because we were telling each other everything about ourselves. And then it went down, and then you were completely closed off, and then we talked about it and you got better at being open. But I actually think you're kind of back in a wave of like the down wave of not talking about it as much, which is okay. There's nothing wrong with it. But I think that for you, it's more like a wavy. That could be points where you talk about it more, and then points like now. I think it probably is linked with, just what you've been feeling lately and anxiety and all of that.
Yeah, it could be.
But at least from my side, I've noticed that you're really good at it for a while, and then it kind of like you kind of hold back again.
No, I mean that might be true, but that's something that definitely falls into maintaining and trying to work on a relationship, by being open and expressing how you feel and what you feel, and maybe trying to also see the other person's side of things and trying to be empathetic and stuff.
and stuff.
No, but can you think of something else that falls into the maintaining category that maybe you never did do, or maybe you barely did in last relationships, but do more now, or is more important to you?
I mean, I do have something, but I don't want this to sound cocky, because it's not meant that way at all. It's really not. I have just always been the person, I'm very attentive to my partner, and I've always been that way. So I feel like I've always put effort into my relationships. And so there hasn't been too many instances where I can think about like, I didn't do that very well. It's really not meant to sound cocky. It's not. It's just the person I am.
You guys, you should see her right now. She's like all super proud and
I'm not.
big and
I'm not. I'm just stating a fact to my personality.
She even has a medal that says most attentive Where did you get this medal? Did you make it yourself? That's crazy.
No, I'm just being honest.
You have a tattoo that says most attentive girlfriend.
I'm just being honest.
Sorry.
It's not meant to be like I'm better than you or whatever. It's just this how I've always been. I've always been like, I try to put effort in, and my fault was I don't look into myself enough. Like, I don't take time for myself. I don't think about what I need. I am constantly thinking about what my partner needs. And so I think, but that comes to my point. I think that that's also part of maintaining a relationship, that you also need to be able to take a step back and think about your own needs and then be able to communicate that with your partner.
Yeah.
And vice versa. Your partner should be able to do that too.
Yeah.
And I think that's also important to maintaining a healthy balance in the relationship.
Yeah.
But I will say one thing that I have gotten better at is figuring out how, like, the love languages and how you experience love and how you feel loved. And I try to do things that make you feel loved, because in my past I've always been like, I'm doing, not on purpose to like ignore their love language, but more so, this is how I feel love, so I'm going to do this for them because I want them to feel love how I feel it.
By the way, the 5 love languages, if you don't know what it is, we have a cool episode. It's linked down in the description.
Indeed.
You should totally listen to it if you haven't yet.
But yeah, so I think that's something that I have gotten better at in our relationship. It's just trying to like be more attentive to or aware of how you feel love, and use that to do things that help you feel love, even if it's not how I would feel it.
Yeah. No, I agree. I mean, that's something I'm still trying to do more, but I have put an effort into doing that, and that alone is a big thing for me already. Not to tap my own shoulder. What is it called? To pat my own shoulder. Pat
myself on the back.
Right, but that already was a big thing for me, to be more attentive and be more aware of what you could need or what you want to see in the things I do, maybe show love to you. But there's also a thing that I think I never really did in this, that like in the sense that like being supportive in a way where if the other person needs or wants something really bad that might make them happy, or not like a thing that you can buy, but more in the sense that they want to maybe like a career path or whatever. I'm trying to be more supportive, and I've been more supportive with you than I've been with my previous relationships, because I know that sometimes putting your own needs like away or lowering your own needs and trying to put the other person's need before your needs that's compromise in a sense, but can benefit the relationship, because you show them that you're, first of all, support their decision or their whatever they're doing, but also that it means something to you, that, and ultimately they're maybe happy with whatever they are trying to achieve. So
in terms of us though, how just because I'm curious, do you feel like my career path has made you have to compromise something that you would
not really compromise. I wouldn't say no, not at all. But I try to be more supportive and try to be excited for you, which is not always easy for me, because I am
because
excited.
I always tell the same stories. Basically.
Nah, not that. I am excited, but at the same time I'm not easily I don't know, I'm not showing excitement like in a heartbeat. I can be super excited about something, but I'm not looking like that. So,
but I mean, I don't expect you to be excited about it. Like if I'm telling you about how my day was, like if my day was really good or something, like it's nice if I tell you like something really nice that like a patient said to me, or I got like a really nice tip or something, which is, by the way, in Austria or in Europe, not super common to get to like give a tip if you get a massage or whatever. And so when someone gives you like 10 euros, it's a really, really nice tip.
Yeah.
And so sometimes I say something like that, and you tend to be at least show like, oh, that's really great, that's really cool, and that's fine. Yeah. That just shows me that you're interested. But I don't expect you to be interested when I come home telling you the same story about someone annoying or something, because
is there something else you can think of? Like, I mean, I would say like for me, a big thing for me was going to see a therapist and doing therapy together.
I think that was big for me too. It was the first time I've done that with somebody.
And that's also falls into like maintaining a relationship and also like, trying to build something that can prevent fallouts or problems in the future, or building up tools that can help with that. And I think that was a big thing for me or for us to do that together. But in general, I think things like that, like do things that, sit down and just talk, or have like a project together, like this podcast is essentially. Things where you put your time, your effort, and your shared time in and create something that it can be like a scrapbook. It can be a
puzzle.
It can be like a picture book from your last holiday.
Mm-hmm.
Stuff like that, where or like a podcast or like a short movie or whatever, or like a dancing course or whatever, Don't look at me like that.
Uh-huh. He's like promoting that people should do a dance course, and when I say that I want to do one, you're like, I don't want to do that.
I'm not promoting anything, Danielle. I'm just counting. I'm just from the top of my head. I'm just trying to think of
from
things.
The top of your head. You're listing things that you don't want to do that I.
It's not what. God damn it, woman! God damn it, woman! No.
You heard it here, folks. We're going to do a dance course together because Woifi suggested that people try it.
God damn it. No, but that's also something I think that I've never done really with someone. And that is also a fun way to maintain, but also keep a relationship interesting and fun and, not that it gets old and dusty.
Okay, my question for you.
Yeah, last question.
Yes. What do you think we or I could do better or more of in terms of like putting effort into something?
Buy me movies.
What is something? No, but seriously, I would actually love to know if there's something that you feel like I could do more to help you feel like there's effort coming from my side.
I don't know. I can't think of something like right on the spot. I don't know.
Or we. It doesn't have to just be me.
There's not. I mean, the thing is, I would love to have like this podcast. I mean, where we can talk about it. It's something that we like to do, but we're running out of interesting topics, and also we're running out of like ideas for it.
For me, it's more like I told Woifi the other day, I love the conversation while we're doing it, but everything else surrounding it is feeling kind of, I don't know, it's not feeling like as fulfilling to me as it was in the beginning.
The things you're not doing much besides.
What else is there to do besides writing the?
I mean, that doesn't matter, but
description and we don't need to edit much anymore because we don't really make any mistakes anymore, which is nice.
No, I know, but in terms of promoting it and,
But that's exactly the point. I did that a lot in the beginning. And I told you, I'm honest about that. I don't do that as much anymore because I feel like it doesn't bring me as much joy.
Yeah,
and so,
yeah. So, I mean, that's the only thing I think that we find something again that brings us joy in the sense that we might create something again together or do something together that brings that thing back a little bit. Yeah. So, with that said, this is the last step. No, it's not the last episode. But we're
just exploring options of what we could do, and we want to keep doing this podcast for now. And obviously, we won't leave you guys hanging if we decide to end it. And we have talked about maybe potentially starting a different podcast, maybe completely 180, just a different style, different topic, different theme. All of that. We're
talking about being alone the whole time. Like that's a complete opposite relationship and then being alone.
I see. The single life.
Yeah, single life. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I wouldn't.
What's great about the single life? That's the podcast.
In this day and age, I wouldn't know. I wouldn't have any advice for single people because I couldn't be single in this day and age. I would hate it.
Yeah,
and
me too.
That's not like a burn on anybody who's single. It's purely just I don't know how you guys do it. I actually have a ton of respect for you also.
Yeah. But that's it.
Yeah.
Yeah, please.
Wait, but can I answer the question that I asked? Because I asked you the question that I want to answer too. I think that we can both work on being more romantic with each other because I think the last year with the pandemic, kind of because we're just home all the time, or we were home all the time, I feel like we have fallen into this routine of kind of always doing the same thing. And I feel like we don't, as much as we used to, I feel like we don't like just sit and talk much anymore. It's kind of like...
What are we doing right now?
I'm not talking about the podcast.
Oh, but that's what it is.
In general.
Oh, okay.
Just in general, the podcast takes a half hour once a week when we do it. So
That's
the
so
rest
nice.
of the week, it's nice to have more than just a half hour of talking time.
You can listen back to the podcast. That's basically the same thing.
You know what I mean? We don't really have like
I know what you mean.
conversation that much. We do, but not as much as we used to. And the romance, I feel like, is kind of on both ends, kind of fallen a bit. And it would be nice to bring some, romance back into our relationship.
Let's watch True Romance tonight.
I don't know how you feel about that, but I kind of feel like
I agree.
I missed that a little bit. I feel like
the thing is, I don't miss it that much, but it's nice to have. No, in the sense that I don't necessarily need it.
Yeah, but I do.
But I know you need it, and I also like when it's there. So
Yeah.
so it's a nice thing to have, and I agree. It should be brought back a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, once in a while. You know what I mean?
Once in a while. So,
So
maybe a little bit.
once
Once
every
in
2
a
years.
month or every 3 months. Once,
That's not what I
once
mean.
per
You know,
quarter.
That's what I mean. I'm just saying.
You get
putting-
1 day of romance per quarter.
Use it wisely. It's rare. No, but you know what I mean.
I know what you
agree.
mean.
No, I agree.
What do you mean?
But please,
I don't want to just be
people
your
subscribe,
bro.
and please, people, contact us if you think we should continue the podcast, or if you have an idea what we should talk about. I'm still hanging with the poop podcast, like calling the
If you have podcast ideas.
the poopcast. The poopcast, and we just talk about poop and feces all the time, and stool.
How what you can blah, 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 how you can tell what's wrong with you by looking at your poop, or what's not wrong with you.
Yeah.
Maybe if you can tell like what's a
and
really
why it's
healthy
funny
poop.
to call poop stool.
It is funny.
It's funny.
And why it's funny that in Austria we have this store that outside of the store has literally a giant red stool, but like a chair.
Yeah.
And it's just funny to say that they have a giant red stool in front of their store
Yeah.
because it's
Red
like
stool.
bloody poop.
Red stool is not funny though. If you
Red
have red
stool's
stool,
not funny.
go to the doctor.
Unless you ate beets the day before, then
Yeah.
it's nothing to
Yeah.
be concerned
So please,
with that.
please subscribe, share the podcast, and we'll hear each other next week.
Goodbye.